Hey folks, how you doing? It's Daniel Rashid. Thanks for tuning in again. Hopefully you're enjoying the series so far. If you are, let me know. And if you're not, let me know. Comment below. Send me a message, whatever you need. If there's some details or some more things that you need to be sort of clarified or explained, just let me know. We covered the mortgages and financing segment of your first-time home buyer plan, and we got into sort of where do you start really in finding a home. Hopefully I can throw those links here in this series so you can click on the videos if you haven't seen them. The numbers video is a little basic, but it will kind of give you a rundown of what to expect when you're meeting with someone for your mortgage. And the Find a Home series is good because it touches on a realtor and realtors and how they work, their agreements, their commission structures, and what you're getting into at the end of the day. All right, so next segment, we got a realtor or you're hunting on your own and you found the home that you like. You've seen a lot of different products. If it's an investment, you've done your numbers, you've did the math, what kind of rents you can get, what's your cap rate, what's your rate of return on those investments. So we can, I'm going to be diving into a lot of different areas. Right now, I want to keep it basic for your, for the first time home buyer sort of roadmap, and kind of keep it at that, first purchase of your career or your portfolio. You found the home you wanted. This is an exciting time. Now you're ready to draft up a purchase and sale agreement, which is an agreement that's usually a few pages, covers a lot of different topics. I do want to keep this generally simple and cover the main areas of a purchase and sale agreement. First, you have the price of the home. What are you going to offer on that home? Is it worth a little less than what they're asking for? Is it worth testing the waters, in terms of making a lower offer? Your market will dictate a lot of what your capabilities are in sort of making an offer. If you're seeing what we're seeing a lot of right now is a lot of multi-offer bids on homes. And if you're seeing that in your local area, if a new listing came on the market, not to say that you shouldn't offer, but don't be so hopeful if you're going to try to lowball or come down 5-10% from the listing or ask price. You're likely going to lose that listing if there's a multi-offer bid. We're seeing a lot of overbidding happening and things rising above essentially where they should be listed for. And that's never been the case in terms of my local market, and that could change real soon. So depending on what you're doing, where you are, what you're bidding on, you can approach what you're going to pay for the house differently. Personally, when I'm buying my first home or whatever, a home that's been on the market for a little while has become, maybe like 6 months to a year, become more stagnant, and probably something that, a lot of people don't like about the home. But that's sort of a home that I sort of prize because no one likes it. Maybe there's an opportunity to fix that problem that nobody likes, or to work with it. In terms of investment, can I make any rental income or potential to sort of making more units out of a property? If it's a single family home, obviously be careful on the single family home part, because if it's something that a lot of people don't like, then just be careful. Just do your research, see what the issue is, and see if you can kind of deal with it or improve on it. And if you can, then you make a low ball offer, get that home for a decent price, 20% less than maybe the ask price, or something around the appraised value of that house. So that's you're ahead of the game, and you can kind of do what you need to do to improve that product. Anyways, I wasn't supposed to get complicated, but we did anyways. At the end of the day, you're going to be putting a purchase price together. So if the home's $300,000, you put $300,000 down. The next step is how much commitment do you have to the deal? It's called a deposit, or trust payment, or trust deposit. The trust deposit shows your commitment to the deal. You're buying the house with really no strings attached at the beginning. If you have conditions, it basically means you have an exit out of your purchase and sale agreement. So if you have an exit, that means you can get your money back, and you just wasted everybody's time. Not to be like that, but you didn't waste everyone's time. It's just maybe something in the home. We'll get into conditions of what there is to protect you, but at the end of the day, you should put some kind of money to show commitment to the deal. Now, that's completely refundable based on your conditions. If you don't have any conditions, then you're probably not going to see that money come back to you, unless it's like a real, serious issue with the home selling and the owner no longer can sell the home, or they don't want to. That could happen. So you'll get your money back anyways. So you got your purchase price, your trust deposit that you're going to be committed to the deal. Next is like sort of the fixtures, what's included with the home that you just seen. This you can keep basic, or if you wanted some of the furnishings, some of the lighting fixtures, like a chandelier, which is fixed. They don't necessarily have to include the one that was fixed. They can kind of technically swap things. I would take pictures of all appliances personally. It's a big tip. I'd take pictures of all appliances, washers and dryers, lighting fixtures. I had a client close to me that we closed a deal on, and they swapped out the washer and dryer. So that was really kind of shady, but that does happen because we've agreed to buy the home with a washer and dryer. They shouldn't be swapping it. That shouldn't happen. But, some people try some things sometimes. So be mindful of that. When you're bidding on the home, make sure that you've at least taken photos of what was there. And if you didn't, sometimes the listing photos capture that too. So that's a good, easy way if you forgot to do that. But if there's something like a TV you wanted, you get the mount, but you don't get the TV. If it's mounted to the wall, you get the mount, but you don't get the TV. So that's some of the things that you got to be reading into on a purchase and sale agreement. You'll get the draperies, you get the curtains, you get a few different things that are fixed to the home. So you get the fixed things that are to the home, plus appliances usually. If there's a shed in the backyard, make sure the shed's part of the deal. There's a lot of things that are not really disclosed in the listing cut, so make sure you're getting everything that you wanted. So outline that, make a list of the things that you want at the end of the day, and when you're sizing up your offer, you put those things in. So the next step is the title search of the property. So lawyers are going to dive into the title of the property, make sure the person selling is the person, valid for selling that property, that there's nothing owing against the property, liens, contractors that need their money, that they make sure the title is clean. So the lawyer does a lot of other things, but with those things, a title search is a very important part of that. Make sure the taxes are good, water and municipality, and there's a lot of adjustments that happen. And then from there, it's pretty much straightforward. Depending on the heating system, if you're dealing with oil heat, there's usually a fuel adjustment. So the owner selling the house, they fill the tank, they bill you out for it, you buy a full tank of oil. Your main conditions on the offer come in the second part, usually a Schedule A. So a Schedule A covers financing, it covers home inspection, it covers insurance inspection. So those three items are going to be every offer you make is probably going to be floating around those conditions. Those conditions also can make your deal more aggressive if you don't have them, but this is your first home, absolutely put in some conditions because you need them. Because it doesn't matter how confident you are in all the cash that you got, just have some conditions in there to protect yourself, especially the first time around. So if we're dealing with financing, financial approval, you got your pre-approval already, but we are seeing more and more these days that pre-approval means almost nothing. It kind of means something, kind of gives you in the realm, but they basically do another application when you purchase a home. They check your file, make sure there's nothing's changed. They dive into your career. If you got a new job, did you buy a new car? Did you change your visas? So the bank is going to reevaluate your financial profile again to kind of give you the green light or not. And you need at least 7 days to kind of work this process out. If you need more time, take it on the end or ask for an amendment for more time. It's easier than asking for the 14 days up front. Sometimes this stuff takes 2 weeks, unfortunately. Sometimes you have a clean file, but these days things are backed up and it takes a lot longer. Okay, now your financial clause is settled. You have a few days for financing. Home inspection's next. Home inspection for your first time around should be necessary. As a realtor, I advise my clients all the time to get their home inspection. Just because it's like the first time around And if you don't know too much about the construction and home ownership, there's a lot of things. Usually inspectors will give you a nice thick Bible of stuff. Expect there to be a ton of problems. Home inspections are, you're paying them pretty good coin to find problems with the house, and they will find problems. So with an inspection, you're paying a good amount. You're gonna get a solid report, and there's gonna be problems. Don't be scared of them. But your red flags are the problems that you want to really dive into. Is there a real problem with foundation? Every foundation can be fixed. Even then, don't be scared. But how much are we talking? For restoring that, repairing that. Do you need more time to get qualified foundation expert to take a look at that problem? So those are the type of things that you're going to see with your home inspection. And if you're really confident and you have a friend or father, mother that are really good into construction and they really know their way around a property, maybe that's unnecessary. Or myself and my last few purchases, I've been using just tradesmen. So, carpenter, I'll get a plumber in, I'll get someone to look at foundation and electrical. And usually that gives me a good picture of what I'm dealing with for a property. But that's, I was 6-7 properties in before I started doing that, or started having the confidence to look at a home and say, okay, I don't really need an inspection with this. So size up the inspection. You likely will need one. At least if you didn't have one before, get one and see what it's all about and see if it's worth it to you. You don't have to always get one, but at least get your training wheels, understand it, and understand what they look at. So then the next time around, you can look at the same thing. Now, your third thing is your insurance inspection. So insurance inspections include a number of different things. Usually comes down to electrical and an oil tank, past history of the home, if there's a very bad history of the home. I've never really seen too many deals fail with an insurance inspection. Oil tank is pretty huge, just because it's a very big liability for an insurance company to insure a home with an oil tank. If they're not, if it's expired, obviously they won't even do it. Or if it's in the basement, a steel single wall oil tank could spill, causing massive damage. So they like to see a newer tank, a fiberglass tank, something that has a lifetime warranty on it or installed correctly. So there's a few things. Electrical, they usually dive into like wiring. Is it copper or aluminum? They'll have a big problem with aluminum. So there's a number of things that they're looking at to distinguish whether or not they're going to insure the home. Get that condition every time. Always insurance. As for home inspection, you can toss it up. You probably 99% will get it. And financing, you should get it too. Unless you got cash for the deal and know what you're doing. That's great. I got you. Cash? That would be awesome. But, I don't think for your first home, I don't think you're throwing that kind of cash down. If you are, all the power to you. You probably don't need any of this. So, so that's what you're going to be dealing with. Those three main conditions. So again, financing, important. Home inspection, important. Insurance inspection will always pass, but just get it just in case. So those are your three main conditions. When you're coming in and looking at a purchase and sale with a realtor or usually a lawyer, he'll have his own way and own wording of those conditions because they usually draft up their own agreements. Realtors have a pretty standard form that relatively the same realtor to realtor across the board. But those are going to be your three main conditions. And then usually a Schedule A gets into if you're selling a house and buying this one, that you're having an agreement to kind of do that you have to sell your house first, then buy that one. It deals with sewage. If you're buying a home out in the country or rural areas that don't have any municipal water, you're going to be doing water tests, which is completely important. Do it every time. And you test out the septic system to verify it's in good working order. That's very important too, because everyone has there's a lot of different systems out there, so good to get that done as well. And then basically you're ready to go. Now there's a segment about a property condition disclosure statement, which is just a big fancy word for the owner's opinion about their house and history of the home. Is there any major damage? What's the plumbing? material. When's the last time the plumbing was updated? What's the electrical? How many amperage? What's the meter number? A lot of sort of standard things, but if there's any issues underlying that the homeowner fails to disclose, they're liable for that. So a property condition disclosure statement is usually along with an information package about the house. It's not always included. And even if an owner wrote something on those statements, the PCDS, if they wrote, a certain something, verify it, do your own due diligence. Don't trust the word of the homeowner, unfortunately. It's a massive purchase, and you really should do your own due diligence on everything. So, not trust the homeowner, but do your homework and make sure and verify everything, because everyone loves their home. My home's the best. You know what I mean? Like, everyone loves their home, and they're not always going to disclose the truth when it's dealing with property conditions and like a disclosure statement. So review it, sign it, take note of it, but do your own due diligence on it. And trust can only go so far in a business transaction, so be prepared for that. And that usually covers your Schedule A. That pretty much covers it. Your three main conditions: financing, home inspection, and insurance inspections are going to be your three main catalysts for like every deal that you write. They're going to be your protection to get your money back. And how that looks like is basically this. So you got 1 week and all your conditions on your Schedule A. All your conditions. So you got like 1 week usually, or if you need more time to evaluate things, then you take more time. You ask for an amendment. Usually the homeowner will agree to that. And if they don't, then they've got another offer in the bag, and that's unfortunate. Regardless, you ask for your time that you need, that's necessary to go through and do what you got to do. After that point, if you're satisfied with all those conditions, you remove those conditions. So you get basically a form that sort of deletes all the conditions that you've, your safety nets as a buyer. With the conditions removed, you're really committed to close on this property. Really committed. You could face, legal litigation if you can't close on it. Have I seen anybody sued because of that? No, I have not personally. And that's why I was talking about the PCDS, about homeowners maybe not fibbing about their house, or they're fibbing, and then you find out about it, and you're gotta go to the lawyer and kind of sue them. It gets really convoluted. It gets unfortunate because it gets real expensive, and you may not even win at the end of the day. So do your research before you close on this property. Your best weapon is your due diligence up front. Whatever you gotta do, you find out. You're removing conditions, you're basically committed to the house. So you remove your conditions, you're committed to buy the house, and you're moving forward, which is a great time for you. It's exciting. There's a lot of emotion, and it's like a waiting game, kind of getting to the end. It's exciting. It doesn't matter what I say to you. Every time you do it, you'll have butterflies. I sell this property all the time, but when I buy my own stuff, I got butterflies. Did I make the right choice? It's a total normal human emotion, and you'll feel that every time when you buy. It doesn't get easier. It's interesting. And no one can really feel what you're going through until you're, the person that it's happening to, kind of thing, like you're buying the house. So that pretty much covers the purchase and sale. I know there's a lot of material there that I kind of blasted out. If there's any questions on it, let me know. I'll be glad to help you, or at least give you my feedback and what I suggest. If there's other conditions that you want to put into the offer, the world's your oyster, kind of thing. You can say whatever you want in an offer. Sometimes it can get a little bit hairy, and don't expect the owner to always be like, oh, that's great. But a good example might be just to clean the house in general. If there's a lot of trash and debris in the home, usually people move out pretty clean. But you know what? You want to put an extra condition in there to make sure the house is clean of garbage and debris, the basement to be swept out. Whatever you got to do, professionally clean, put it in. See if they agree to it. And if they agree to it, at least it's on paper, and then they got to commit to it. But maybe they don't. Who knows? So whatever you can think of, conditions like that, a lawnmower you wanted, anything special that you can think of for a deal, you can put it in. A deal is basically what you make it. So it's pretty creative. You can be pretty custom with it. In a multi-offer situation, you can include an intro about yourself, a bio about yourself to say, hey, this is who I am. This is why I love your home. And it kind of maybe distinguishes yourself from the other offers Everyone does care about the dollars at the end of the day, but if they have somebody coming home, to take over their property that they're in love with, and they see the passion of somebody else, and you're a couple of grand off from another offer, they might actually just go with your offer. So again, be creative, be custom, get the home that you want, and whichever way you need to get it, So that pretty much wraps up the offer. And I could dive in again in different segments. So much material to cover, maybe overwhelming. Thanks again for joining me today. It's Daniel Rashid, and I really appreciate you taking the time to check this out. If there's any questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to get back to you and answer them. We're going to keep going on this stuff and provide you tips and tricks in the real estate world that I've learned personally, and we'll talk about what's happening in the market here soon.